Hi everyone, welcome to trigonometry. Today we explore lesson 4, graph of general sine cosine function. Number 1, the parent sine cosine functions. The parent function is the simplest function. So for sine, the parent function is fx equal to sine of x. And we can graph it using 5 points. We know sine of 0 is 0. Sine of pi is also 0. Sine of 2 pi is 0. And sine of pi over 2 is 1. Sine of 3 pi over 2 is -1. All we have to do is connect these points by a smooth curve. And we have the graph of sine. Yeah, pretty cool. On one period. Similarly, the parent function of cosine is fx equal to cosine x. We know cosine of 0 is 1. Cosine of 2 pi is 1. Cosine of pi is -1. Cosine of pi over 2 is 0. Cosine of 3 pi over 2 is 0. Using a smooth curve, connect these points and we have the graph of cosine on one period. 2, the general sine cosine function. The general sine function is written as fx equal to c plus a sine of b times x minus d. Similarly, the general cosine function is fx equal to c plus a cosine b times x minus d. Absolute value of a is the amplitude. That is the distance from the middle of the graph to the maximum output of the graph. And we have a reflection over the x-axis when the value of a is less than 0. 2 pi over b is called the period. C is the vertical shift. That is, we shift up if c is more than 0, shift down if c is less than 0 from the middle of the parent graph. And D is the horizontal shift. That is, we shift to the right if D is more than 0 and shift to the left if D is less than 0. Let's take a look at how we sketch a few. Number 3, graph the general sine cosine functions. Example, determine ABCD and sketch each function on one period. In A, we have fx equal to -1 minus 2 sine 4x plus pi. We need to get it into the general form. So it's -1 plus minus 2 sine, we can factor 4 x plus pi 4 minus 1 plus minus 2 sine 4 x minus pi 4. And from here, we have a to be -2, b to be 4, c to be -1, and d to be pi 4. A tells us that we're going to do the reflection over the x-axis is the line y equal to 0. We usually reflect around the middle of the graph, so this would be the reflection over line the middle of the graph is C, so y equal -1. And the absolute value A is 2. That is the amplitude. B equal 4 tells us that 2 pi over B is 2 pi over 4, which is pi over 2 is the period. C equal to -1 tells us to shift down 1 unit. D equal -pi4 tells us to shift left pi over 4 unit. Okay. Let's sketch it. First thing that we do in the sketch is we got to sketch out the middle of the graph, so that's -1. Right. And then the shifting. Now, we know we're going to shift left by -pi over 4. The period is pi over 2, meaning that we got to add another pi over 2. So -pi over 4 plus pi over 2 is, well, pi over 2 is the exact 2 pi over 4. So this gives us the pi over 4. I'm gonna make this a little bit. It is -pi over 4, and right here is pi over 4. Yeah. The amplitude is 2. Well, amplitude is 2, meaning I got to go up here 1. I could go up +1 plus 1 from -1 is 1. -2 -3. Now this is the sine function, so we need 5 points to form the sine function, and because A is negative, we got a reflection over the line y equal -1. So here come the point. The first point, second point, third point. And because we reflected the fourth point right here, and the fifth point is amplitude is 2. 4 points right here, amplitude is 2, so the fifth point is right here. Right. Next, let's connect these through a smooth curve. It is it. That is the graph of fx on 1 period. Pretty cool, huh? Remember, begin from the C and D, then use the period to get the interval in 1 period. Look for reflection, and then from there we can just get the 5 points to sketch. Let's do another example. B, fx to go to 1 plus 3 cosine 2x minus pi over 2. Gonna write this in the general form. So 1 plus 3 cosine, we can factor out the number 2 here, x minus pi over 4. Oh, and then from here, we know that a is equal to 3, b is equal to 2, c is equal to 1, d is pi over 4. Well, it tells us that absolute A is 3. It's the amplitude. B equal to 2 pi over 2. Use the formula here. 2 pi over B is 2 pi over 2, which is pi. That is the period. C equal 1 tells us to shift up 1 unit. D equal pi over 4 tells us to shift to the right pi over 4 unit. Okay, with this we can graph. First thing, start with the shifting. C equal 1, I'm going to shift up by 1. And then D equal pi over 4, shift to the right, pi over 4 unit. Next, use the period to get one period, and that would be pi over 4 plus pi is 5 pi over 4. Somewhere right here is 5 pi over 4. We know that the amplitude is 3. You got to go up by 3. 2, 3, 4. Yay! Minus 1, minus 2. Go down by 3. And this is the cosine function. Now, what we need here is 5 points to sketch the function correctly. It is best to get the 5 points, and to do that, we can divide the interval between pi over 4 to 5 pi over 4 into 4 equal intervals. So use the midpoint and then another 2 smaller midpoint. From here, cosine has the V-shaped graph, right? So the first point is going to be the maximum. Second point is the minimum. The third point is the maximum. It goes down and up. The remaining 2 points is right in the middle, like this. So now we can sketch the graph of cosine by connecting them with a smooth curve. Yeah. Number 3, functions from graphs. Example, derive functions from graph. In A, we have the function, and it does look like sine of some thing. It's the sine function. First thing is notice that this is how we get C. Right in the middle of the graph, C equal 1. And then the shifting right here is give us D. For the period, we can get it by, notice that 2 pi over B is period. 2 pi over B is, well, the period is 5 pi over 4 minus pi over 4. So 2 pi over b is pi, meaning that b is 2 pi divided by pi, which is 2. Ah, very nice. Next step is we just have to figure out A. The amplitude is the distance from the middle of the graph to the top or to the bottom. So this tells us that absolute value A equal 2. We see that that is the reflection of the graph of sine. So reflection tells us that A is -2. That is it. We have all the information here. Get us the function fx equal to c plus a sine of bx minus d. And then we do the substitution. 1 plus -2 sine of 2 x minus pi over 4. Simplify, get 1 minus 2 sine of 2x minus pi over 2. Very nice. Let's take a look at the second example. B. Oh, we have a graph. It looks like graph of cosine. So do the same thing, right? Figure out the A, B, C, D. Look at the middle, the graph. So this tells us that C equal to 0. There's a little shift in here to the right by pi over 12. D is pi over 12. Next, well, the distance from the middle of the graph to the top or to the bottom. This would give us the absolute value A equal 5, no reflection, so equal 5. Use the definition of period. 2 pi over b equal period. 2 pi over b is the difference between 3 pi over 4 and pi over 12. So 2 pi over b equal 8 pi over 12. Do the cross multiply, and we have 2 pi times 12 equal 8 pi times b. So that tells us b equal 3. And then from here, ta-da! The function fx is c plus a cosine of b times x minus d. C is 0, a is 5, b is 3, and d is pi over 12. So this gives us fx equal to 5 cosine of 3x minus pi over 4. Sweet. Thank you for watching. I hope you find the content useful. Please like, subscribe, help the channel grow. I will see you in the next video.